The meeting is called to order. Good evening and welcome to the March 24th, 2022 meeting of the Southeast Delco Board of Directors. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Good evening and welcome to the March 24th, 2022 meeting of the Southeast Delco Board of School Directors. May we have a salute to the flag and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Butler, may I have a roll call?
Yes, you may, Madam Vice President. Mrs. Abney?
Present.
Ms. Perry?
Present.
Ms. Monroe?
Present.
Mrs. Peter Coey? Absent, excused rather. Ms. Woodfolk?
Present.
Mrs. Washington?
Present.
Mr. Fowler?
Present.
Ms. Crawley?
Present.
Ms. Harris Johnson?
Present.
Dr. Winder?
Present.
Mr. DiOrio?
Present.
And Mr. Butler? Present.
Comments and announcements by the board president. I would like to report that we had executive sessions on February 24th, March 17th, and today before our meeting. We are pleased to have our two student representatives present tonight. They will introduce themselves and present their reports.
Hello, my name is Omnia Al-Hanif, and I'm a junior at Academy Park High School. I'm very excited and thankful for this opportunity to be a student representative on the board meeting.
My name is Brianna Hall, and I would like to start out by thanking everyone for this opportunity to represent Academy Park as a student representative on the school board. Spring sports have also recently kicked off with baseball, outdoors track, softball, lacrosse, and tennis. Along with that, in the celebration of March Madness, each classroom partook and selected their brackets for the NCAA Women's and Men's Basketball Tournament, with winners winning an ice cream party. The school will also hold a basketball game with students versus teachers.
And also, the class of 2023 student council has been preparing for the junior prom. This week, they were deciding on what dinner to have, and I know that students are now able to run for the prom princess and prince this week.
On March 11th, we held a freshman-sophomore dance, more formally known as Frage, as a fundraiser which went successfully with around 150 students attending. The class of 22 has also recently concluded their Claire's Gourmet fundraiser, with the proceeds going towards the senior class and incentives such as a discounted or even free prom ticket.
The class of 2023 also had a fundraiser by selling snacks after school to help the class.
With the end of the year approaching soon, the yearbook committee has been working nonstop. Senior superlatives voting has kicked off, with students voting in their fellow classmates to titles such as Most Spirited / Park Pride to Most Likely to Brighten Your Day. The senior class of 22 also has the opportunity to directly contribute to the yearbook by submitting into various categories from baby pictures to post-graduation plans.
And recently, we had an assembly for those who achieved Distinguished Honor Roll and Honor Roll for both marking period 1 and 2. Each grade had an assembly, and students were individually called up to stage to receive their certificates. There was also a group photo taken by our principal, Mr. Vaught, and in total for both marking period 1 and 2 in all the grades, there were 206 distinguished honor rolls and 422 honor rolls.
And with that, we would like to conclude our student report for the month of March.
Thank you. You may be excused if you like. Thank you. Now we're going to go through our approval process. Do I have them? I'm sorry. Dr. Winder, do you have a superintendent's report?
I do. Mr. Kitchen? Good evening. We're excited about the success and participation of our kickoff for our Session 1 of the Comprehensive Planning on March 16th, 2022. We have an overview of what we will discuss tonight. We will discuss the meeting agenda, the stakeholders represented. We will discuss the mission and vision activities, reflections, emergent themes that we saw from the activities, and the next steps in upcoming meetings. We are elated for all of the people that took time out to participate, and we will make sure that each of the presentations are on our website. So the agenda, that is the agenda for March 16th, and you can just read quickly what we did that night as an agenda time, and we were able to stay on schedule, which is always a plus when you give people a time that you adhere to it. Stakeholder acknowledgements. First, I would like to say that once we went through and checked all of the names, there were a total of 88 stakeholders. Five of our board of directors were able to participate. President Harris Johnson, Vice President Crawley, Ms. Monroe, Ms. Perry, and Mrs. Peter Coy, as well as all of the different stakeholders that you see there. And we are proud to say that we had a total of 20 students participate on that night. The next thing that we did was just read the Pennsylvania State Department of Education's purpose for district planning, because we wanted everyone to be on the same playing field as to the purpose of district planning and the process that we would use. Then we had our 4 major subcommittees. You see them there with special education and gifted students, Dr. Gibbs Tapper and Mr. Baxter. New teacher induction, Dr. Reddick Smack and Mr. Butler. Professional development, Dr. Lowry and Mr. Wilson. And academic standards and assessment, Dr. Ryan and Mrs. Peterson. And so all of the adults participated in these 4 sessions. But we also ran some student focus groups for our middle school students, because we did have an abundance of them as well. And we had groups set up for 3 groups. We only needed 2, but we had participants work in small groups to provide feedback. And then Dr. Burks and I visited the breakout rooms. But for the middle school students, we felt with so many of them to work on the vision activity in their own little group would be more beneficial for them, and we wanted to make sure that their voice was heard.
In their groups, the team leaders for the 4 groups provided the information about the process of crafting vision and mission statements. Once again, we wanted to ensure that everyone was on the same playing field. Next, they had step 1, which they needed to take columns in a piece of paper and think about vision, words they would want to keep, other words they would like to add in, and the same thing for mission. They were given time to think about and write down their statements so that they would be ready to share. Step 2, then they had opportunity, and depending on which of the 4 groups they were in, the presenters were able to use their own methods. But they had time to discuss what were key words or phrases that they wanted to keep. And they discussed that. Step 3, they discussed what were words they wanted to add or replacement words. These are words we want to add in to our mission and vision. This is what Southeast Delco is all about. Then on the final step, they were given the opportunity to look at the 4 value statements that we have and to add any comments that they would like to have, any revisions, and then they could even create whole new statements of things that they thought would represent our district and our stakeholders. Then they were provided, as the groups came back to our whole group again, and during that time, each group had 2 to 3 minutes to share highlights of their discussion. And one of the things that Ms. Perry pointed out, as we all noticed, that each of the groups had some themes that were very similar when it came to words to keep and words to replace. Then we discussed our 2 future meetings. They will be on Zoom as well, and gave them an opportunity to make sure that they had that on their calendar, as well as the links were already sent for the next 2 meetings. Last, we asked them that before they leave, if they would put a plus or a delta or both in the chat. And we are very grateful for those who gave us their feedback. So we started with our plus. It was good participation and collaboration in our groups, 25 comments surrounding that. Diverse stakeholders, 7 comments surrounding that. Many felt that it was great to have our students participate. There were 11 comments around that. 3 people said good opening, a good way to start our meetings, which was great because then we heightened the potential that they'll return for April 7th. And then 5 said the presentation and the moderator was a plus. Then we had 3 deltas. A low number of students were in some groups, and so what we've done there is some of the students had problem with the link, so I resent it. So we are going to have them test the link the day that they're in school before they come out that night, just to test the link to make sure that they can at least get in and that it works. The other comment said utilize a whiteboard for people that are visual learners. There was 1 comment on that. We will have our team leads meeting and discuss how they could use their laptops to type down the information as they're sharing the screen. So those people that need to see the answers will be able to have them. And then 1 person said they'd like to have more time. Each of these, we only had 1 person for each of them. And our plan for the 7th of April and May 18th is to have an additional 20 minutes to 30 minutes in small group. It was designed for that already. So those were the only deltas that we saw and our pluses. And once again, we are just grateful to everyone taking the time to come out and let their voice be heard. Are there questions for me?
Yes, Dr. Wanda, can I have the reports that they were forwarded to you? I asked for at the conclusion of that meeting.
So, and I explained to you, they had a deadline of yesterday to get them to me. And since they had a deadline of yesterday, and today was filled with preparing for the board, once I look and make sure I got them, I'm not going to just forward them to you. I'm going to send them to the entire board so everybody's on the same playing field.
Okay. And when do you think I can get those?
So I can promise you it won't be before Monday because I got to go through my emails to pull them all.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Dr. Winder, thank you for your report. Now we're going to go through our approval process. Do I have a motion to approve the March 24th, 2022 agenda as submitted?
Motion.
Do I have it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve minutes for the February 24th, 2022 regular board business meeting?
Motion.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any questions on the bills? Do I have a motion to approve the bills for the payment in the amount of $4,929,554.93?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Questions on new business items? Are there any questions on education items 1 through 8? Are there any questions on finance items 1 through 5? Are there any questions on human resource items 1 through 18? Are there any questions on policy item 1? There are no property items. Are there any public comments regarding agenda items?
Yes. Patrick McGowan.
Good evening. Patrick McGowan, 421 Clifton Avenue in Sharon Hill. Just wanted to say I know most of you probably received many emails from some of our musical staff kids, some parents regarding the mask policy. I know this is on your agenda tonight for review. I did go out and I did look at the attached document on the website. It takes you out to, I guess, the CDC, and I put in our zip code, and according to where we are at now, we are at a low risk level based on that criteria. I am asking the board and the administrators to please at least make the mask optional, not mandated. In sporting events through our district, they were not mandated to participate in the actual sporting event out on the fields. Cheerleading, it's not mandated. Musical is just as strenuous. We sing, we dance, we have heavy costumes, makeup on, bright lights. It is very difficult to sing and dance with a mask on. Even with microphones, it is very difficult. And to be honest with you, if you walk through any school in this district, masks would not be worn properly anyhow. They're being worn underneath their nose, down to their chin. We have teachers who shut the doors and masks come off. So it really hasn't been very effective. it hasn't been really enforced. So I am asking this board tonight to please lift the mask mandate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Applebaum?
Hi, Sharon Applebaum, 58 Florence Avenue, Sharon Hill. I'm also with the musical. I sent in an email to yesterday. Yes, it's very hot up under them lights, so singing, dancing, doing their lines is very hard for them. They wear makeup. That makes them hot. Some of them have asthma. They were having asthma attacks in the back. The stage lighting, I've been up there working on the stage crew. It's very hot for me, and I'm not even singing and dancing and doing lines. I'm just painting, and it's hot. So we're asking to get the mask as an optional. If people want to still wear it, that would be fine. But if you don't want to wear it, we would like it lifted. Some other school districts have it totally gone. Interborough, my grandkids go to Interborough, they do not wear a mask at all. I don't know about other school districts, but I do know that they don't have a mask in their classrooms or the teachers. And our sports, some of them weren't paying attention to the mask mandate. We think it should be straight across the board for everybody, not some do this and some do that. And we just don't feel it's fair. So if you can consider getting the mask lifted, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry Kirchhoff?
Good evening. My name is Sherry Kirchhoff. My address is 1432 Sharon Park Drive in Sharon Hill. I am also part of the district musical. My son Ethan Kirchhoff goes to Sharon Hill School. In Sharon Hill School, they don't have air conditioning. They don't. I don't even think they have fans in their classrooms. It gets very hot, and the spring is coming. And to wear a mask and to be in a room where the wind is open just a little bit, it's really difficult for them to breathe and to wear a mask. Also, because he's in the district musical, just like the other kids, it's hard. We went to actually to see a musical in Maryland, and we couldn't understand the kids. They had masks, and we couldn't understand them singing. We couldn't understand their lines. So we would like to request that it would be mask optional, because our kids do need to get back to normalcy. Like other school districts, like Interborough, Ridley, even the Philadelphia School District has an optional mask now. So we would like to ask if you can lift the mandated masks. Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to new business voting. Do I have a motion to approve education items 1 through 8?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve finance items 1 through 5?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve human resources items 1 through 18?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The school board regretfully acknowledges the passing of recent employee, Ms. Desiree Davis. Ms. Davis served 5 years in the transportation department, so may we please have a moment of silence. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve policy item number 1?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. On to county and community reports, committee reports. Ms. Woolfolk, do you have a report on Delaware County Community College?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Ms. Monroe, do you have a report on the Delaware County Intermediate Unit?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Mr. Fowler, do you have a report on PSBA Legislative Council?
I do, Madam Vice President. So I just want to bring to everyone's attention that the House Education Committee conducts a hearing on teacher shortages on the week of March 14th. They held a public hearing on the issue of teacher shortages. The committee and panelists from Pennsylvania Department of Education and various school entities, including school districts, career and technical schools, and charter schools, acknowledged that the existing shortage has been exacerbated by the pandemic. It was noted over the past 10 years, Pennsylvania's educator workforce has been shrinking, especially in rural and urban districts and hard-to-fill areas like special education, English language instruction, and STEM subjects. There has been a 66% drop in newly issued in-state teaching certificates over the last 11 years. Panelists and legislators acknowledge that a lot of work needs to be done by the department and the General Assembly to create pathways to encourage students to become more interested in becoming a teacher. Discussion also included issues related to reasons why teachers may leave the profession, salaries, the high cost of acquiring higher education, and the need for meaningful professional development opportunities. And that concludes my report, Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I do not have a report on the Parent-Student Advisory Committee. Mr. DiOrio, do you have a solicitor's report?
Not this evening, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there an administrative update?
Not this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any public comments regarding non-agenda items?
Yes. Yes. You have something?
Unfortunately, they did not give their residence. So again, I would like to share with you when you're emailing the board, please have your first, last name, your residential address, so that your comment can be read. So I would just forward this to you. And that's it.
Okay, first up. Okay, first up, Cherie Monroe.
Good evening, everyone. I am Cherie Monroe, 1044 Orange Avenue in Darby Township, PA. The question I have for the board members are, how long is too long for a parent and a student to get a response from a staff member? 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? When the staff member alleges that the student has plagiarized their work. Okay. So I guess there's no time limit for that.
So did you want me to answer?
I'm whomever
Here's the board.
at this point.
I know.
I was asking board members.
I know, but I.
Yeah, right, so that's what I was.
Yeah.
More information, I thought you were. So the teacher accused the student of plagiarizing their work. When the student produced the paperwork that they got the information from, the teacher still insisted they plagiarized their work. The parent emailed. I'm trying not to email. And it's been 2 weeks and no response.
So just on behalf of the district, one of the things that we've asked our administrators, and we try to do it ourselves at the cabinet level, is to ensure that within 48 to 72 hours, we have responded. Even if we need to do more research, we try to respond to say, I'm still investigating, but I'll get back to you. So if the teacher hasn't responded, then the administrator needs to be made aware so that we can start on the chart of the protocol and have the administrator move forward. However, if the administrator was already a part of the email and hasn't responded, then it makes it to the cabinet level, to one of the cabinet chairs, whoever supervises that building.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question is for the policy. Has any documentation went out to any parents about the policy, the transgender policy? Has anything went out to the whole district?
Dr. Ryan.
Like a letter to the parents letting them know what's going on?
Not beyond the agenda item, it is not official policy yet for the student positive vote.
So I just suggest to the board members that maybe you need to make sure that all the constituents are aware of this policy. A couple parents, a couple students don't feel comfortable, so I'm really not sure if you're getting all the stakeholders' input into the policy. Most parents don't even go on the website and read it. This is the most parents I've seen in a long time, so at the end of the day, if we're not including the students who have to be a part of it, then we are really doing a disservice to the district as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Michelle?
Monroe. I have a question myself. This is Mrs. Abney.
Okay.
Just to affirm what Ms. Monroe's statement regarding notifying our stakeholders, I'm just wondering if you have a timeline, Dr. Winder, prior to the vote to notify via, you know how we have the robocalls or via mass email. I'm curious how we were planning to notify the parents prior to the vote.
That's Dr. Ryan's department. What do we normally do for policies, Dr. Ryan?
We know what we've done for this.
Okay.
So the agenda items up for vote are usually listed on the agenda for committee of the whole, published on the website. Discussion for the public is held at that meeting, which for this policy happened last Thursday. It would then be published on the agenda for the board meeting, that being this Thursday, and then would appear on the committee of the whole agenda for the second month for this policy, April, because all adopted policies need 2 affirmative votes in order to become official school board policy, and then again appear on the agenda for the official school board meeting on Thursday of the April board meeting. We have not, and I've been doing this about 12 years, we have never advertised individual policies. If that is something that the board thinks needs to be done either for this policy, we still have time to do it before the second adoption, or if you want it to be a process going forward for all policies, because there may be questions about why this one but no other policy, we can have either of those conversations. We can do anything that the board requests, but up to this date, we have not advertised individual policies.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, Michelle Giangulio.
Hello, my name is Michelle Giangulio, 253 West Park Lane, Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. What I wanted to address was that last month you renewed the contract with ServiceMaster for the cleaning. And I wanted to know if that contract had gone out for bid before it was renewed.
No, there was when the contract was awarded 3 years ago, there was a provision in that document that allowed the district to renew that same contract in the ensuing years or when that contract expired.
Okay, that contract expires June 30th, so I was wondering why it was done a little early.
Just for proper planning for the end of school year. The contract was coming up to end, and it's just being proactive.
All right, is it possible that the district could have saved money with another company?
I think that could possibly be
Currently,
an
this
option.
contract-
Let me finish.
Go ahead, you-
Could be an option. The last time that the district did this, when I looked at some of the notes, there were 4 companies that responded. 2 of the companies did not supply all the paperwork, and the one company was not highly qualified.
Okay, because we're currently paying 1.2 million for this per year, for the cleaning. And one of the things the contract states, it says, according to page H6 of the contract, the district may inspect each building as it is opened each day. These inspections will result in a satisfactory or unsatisfactory evaluation. And I thought maybe, it would be efficient for one person to do an evaluation instead of trying to get data from all the individuals in the building as to how well the cleaning's being done. The contract itself, I have here, you can pass these around. The contract itself has very specific requirements as to what's to be done. So it would be very simple for someone to come and see if those things were done just by spot checking. And if then that data could be evaluated and see if things are being done well, then I think we're getting a good value for our dollar. But I don't know if that's what we're getting right now.
Okay.
Okay, is it possible for someone to spot check?
Currently, Mr. Curry is the director, the administrator for that department, and he has personally gone into buildings to look at their cleanliness, to identify certain areas that need attention, being proactive, making folks aware of, folks, staff, and students, that when they're coming into the buildings, that if they're going into the play yards, they're tracking in dirt. So it really depends on the point of the time of the day where some of these areas are being discovered as not being up to a standard. So we are doing it. And Mr. Curry is making Service Master and Building Administration aware.
Yeah, so it says the best time to do that type of inspection is at the opening each day. In the contract, that's what it says.
Okay.
So if that would be something that could be done, instead of, because you're talking about tracking in dirt, so that should not be an option at that point of the day. So,
Agreed.
yeah, so maybe is it possible that we could have someone in at the opening of the day so we would know if the required things that were supposed to be done were completed?
Sure. I will work with Mr. Curry on that matter.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle McGowan?
Hello, I'm Michelle McGowan, 421 Clifton Avenue, Sharon Hill. Before I begin, I did want to get a point of clarification under new business education and the approval of item 8, which was the updated 2021-2022 health and safety plan. By approving that, does that now make the mask mandate optional? And if so, when is it going to be implemented?
I'll be sharing that information at the end.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to talk about the meals at the school. They're getting worse and worse by the day. My children don't eat the lunch anymore. It's because it's just so gross. And in addition, the portions are extremely small. The children are not being fed enough to get it through a day, especially the kids that have an early lunch and have to go the entire rest of the day with this barely functional meal. We're denying our children nutrition. We're also denying them opportunities for children who take buses in the morning to get breakfast in time. The buses are getting them there either too late or right at the time that it's about to end, so they get about 2 minutes to choke down a breakfast and get back into class. That's not enough time for anyone. So I do believe the way that the meals are being handled may need to be reconsidered. As well as room to sit down in the cafeterias. In the lunch that my daughter has, there's not enough seats. And there are people that have to stand and chill and wait until someone gets up to go to the bathroom or something, because there is not enough room in the cafeteria. Overcrowding of lunches should not ever be an option. That's a very dangerous environment. When you pack in too many kids, give them low-quality food, barely enough low-quality food, tempers are going to flare, and kids are going to pop off. And then those same hungry kids are now going to go to class with that same energy. So you want to bring the school back up to the standard where we're taking care of the kids, feed them properly. They need to have a seat. They need to be able to enjoy the meal that they're eating. There should be enough of it to sustain them. So that was my comments on that. And the other thing I wanted to say, we are underutilizing our technology. We currently have a school channel on cable where we should be getting updates all day long at any time of the day on the school. We used to have a fully functioning channel that used to provide you updates on what was going on in the various points in the district. I remember that. I could watch school board meetings. I could watch events all around the district. We have a YouTube channel. No one knows when something's going to be posted to it until it actually happens. It's not the same experience, and it's not reaching the entire community. And on top of that, it isn't, we have the opportunity, we have the equipment, state-of-the-art equipment, that we're not using properly. There's not enough supervision and participation from the students because they're not excited to do any of it because they don't know that it's there. No one knows that you can get that far into technology. We're losing an opportunity to provide kids who may go into an audiovisual field an opportunity to work on an actual channel. And I know most of you guys here don't even know what the channel is. If you have Verizon, it's channel 43. But if you go to that channel, it's not available. It needs to change. We need to be promoting this district, our policies, our pride, and our community publicly for everyone to see. So, that's that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question. When is the, well, I have two questions. One is, why did we stop live streaming? But that's neither here nor there. When is the video posted, the recording posted onto YouTube?
Mr. Kitchen or Evan? Mr. Evans?
It's recorded on Thursday and posted the following Monday.
Okay.
And also, your service providers, with Verizon and Comcast, you're suddenly not getting your channel, they didn't contact the provider, because you are logged into the channel. And board meetings are on that channel, we have YouTube and cable channel available to you. So Verizon, I'm hearing you have to contact Verizon, if they're not getting extra profit. So we are broadcasting that too.
Mr. Kitchen, can I ask you a question? Just real quick. Is it easier just to live record and not have the chat feature? Is it easier to live record and then, or is it easier to post on a Monday?
Because the situation in the boardroom, we have multiple camera angles, we have to edit everything together. So it's a lot cleaner.
Okay.
than streaming on.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question, Mrs. McGowan. What school was that your child, they are standing at lunch?
That would be at Academy Park.
That's at Academy Park. Have the administration been made aware of the standing and?
There's absolutely no way that they can not see this. And if staff are not reporting that, then they're not doing their jobs for the safety of kids.
Okay. Thank you. I just had to ask that question. Thank you.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I wanted to thank Mrs. McGowan for bringing this to our attention. This is very important, and this is something that we take very seriously regarding the statements that she made, that she doesn't believe that students are being fed properly and receiving the proper nutrition. So I think this is something that we want to definitely look into and actually have a timeline into following up and talking with the director of food service, et cetera, in terms of making sure that our students are receiving proper nutrition. I think that's really important, and I appreciate Ms. McGowan sharing her concerns. They do not fall on deaf ears. We hear you, and we want to acknowledge you as a parent and a community member. And I think it's important that we follow up and do our due diligence in terms of making sure that our students are receiving what they need. So thanks so much.
I have a question. I don't know if Mr. Vogt knows this or not, and I don't know if it's still in the high school anymore, but Ms. McGowan, Ms. Mason, Mr. McGowan, if you remember when you guys were in Academy Park, y'all had a news station room. I don't know if it's still available. I know. So that's what I'm saying. Mr. Vogt might not know that there was a room. Right. And they still use it every day? Okay, cool. Oh, it's not broadcast to the YouTube channel? Right, I know. I'm saying.
And we used to broadcast live, that stopped years ago.
Oh, okay. Right, so maybe just a suggestion to the board members, we can get that back up and running so that can be on the YouTube page and the school channel as well. I know that it was a lot of information given by students, and a lot of those students currently work in those fields. And so I can only suggest, now you're making a suggestion, maybe we should just bring that back and try to figure out how we can live stream it to both those channels. Yes, thank you. That's all.
I just want to say I agree, and I'm wondering if there's anything particularly prohibiting us from doing that, and what a timeline would look like.
So I don't know how
Can we get that done?
Shawishi, I don't know how up to date the technology is in that room. So that would be, I guess we just have to ask Mr. Kitchen or Mr. Vogt.
We will try to have a report at the next committee of the whole that will give Mr. Kitchen and Mr. Evans a few weeks to check into things, since this is something from long ago.
They still utilize it.
Right, but he said, somebody back there just said that it was a while since they did the
last report.
Yes.
We're still recording the news every day. It's on the YouTube channel. It's not live. Live will be in the middle of the morning. I'm not sure if you want to watch that on YouTube. We can do both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments before we go to our last card.
Yes, I have another comment. I'm curious about our meal service providers. And I'll follow up with Mr. Butler regarding that via email. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Francesca Barley. Last but not least.
Hi, everybody. Francesca Barley, 418 Lafayette Ave in Collingdale. So I just kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that I have started at Academy Park. It kind of goes back to what Ms. McGowan was saying. She kind of feels like there was really no communication on the parent level, especially at Academy Park. So a couple of weeks ago, I started a brand new Academy Park parents page. It's under literally Academy Park parents page. If you guys want to go and check it out, I know in the past couple of weeks, Miss Perry and Miss Washington have also shared and liked my page. So I have been, working with staff. I individually emailed each staff at the high school, made up my own email. It's called academyparkinfo@gmail.com. And this is an email where all the teachers can email me all of the things that they have going on. So I have been posting things like clubs, sports events, just things that are going on for the week, because I find that as a busy parent and parents that work, sometimes we weren't getting information like we were getting it that day. And so parents that work, we can't drop our jobs or, to be at things like back to school night. So I thought it would be really helpful to do that. So I've been working with Mr. Vogt, and, we talked about it. I have all the information for the teachers, and, there's been things broadcasted. Like I said, the clubs, the sports, and I think it's been really successful. I know, my first post, it reached over 1,800 people, and right now we have about 150 followers. And so I think that with a little bit of advertisement, it could go a little bit further. I just want to help parents, and that's all I want to do. And I want to help the kids. So I feel like if the parents know about these activities, they can push their kids to do some of these activities. And then we can get the parents in the school to participate as well. Something that I think has been lacking at Academy Park for many, many years. So if you guys want to pull up your Facebooks, if you guys have Facebooks, it's Academy Park Parents page. I would love for you to check it out. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for the comment. I have one more comment. I've been asking for, and this is before Mr. Kitchens came aboard at Southeast Delco. I've been suggesting for many years that Southeast Delco, we get a social media page so that each school can have a break-off page from that page. And so that's another way to reach parents with communication as well. So again, another suggestion to the board members is maybe we need to start working on getting a social media page, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, so that, like the young lady just said, that parent part be a part of it as well. And then every school will have their own page of our breakout page. Our website is very cumbersome. When you go on there, it's not inviting, it's not user-friendly at all. So again, this is my suggestion for I don't know how many times, is that school board needs to get on the ball with getting a social media page. We are moving into the 22nd century, and we need to start moving accordingly. That's just my suggestion.
So on yesterday, we discussed that in our cabinet that Dr. Lowry will be heading up an initiative with that. far as the Facebook page and getting those things together. Of course, we're in the middle of the year, so we need to look at that at the end of the year. Also, our new website, Mr. Kitchen, if I'm not mistaken, is finished building our new website. However, for the sake of our staff, especially our teachers, we did not want to launch that in the middle of a school year and have them have to learn something new. Mr. Kitchen, have we reached that point and we're just waiting to close out and open up? Right. Right, so those two things are already planned and coming out. We just need to do it at an appropriate time, not to overwhelm our staff who is already overwhelmed with just working during this pandemic. So we do have those two things already on the horizon, but thank you to everyone for their comments and suggestions for those things.
Oh, last question. Can we put on the agenda for next month, the calendar, to visit the calendar? I know when we voted on it, we said we talked about revisiting it. So can we put that on next month's agenda?
So originally you were going to revisit it after the negotiations, so you are complete. Did you want to reverse that?
No, it's fine. Thank you.
All right. We do have 3 retirements. Usually it would be the vice president reading those, but she is, of course, operating as the president. So we are going to ask one of our board members if they would volunteer to read C1 and C2. On page 380 and 381.
All right, so we are acknowledging the retirement of 3 dedicated employees. First, Miss Kathleen Bonini is a kindergarten teacher at the Kindergarten Center, and she has served the district for 19 years. Also at the Kindergarten Center and a kindergarten teacher, Miss Aileen Crossan will be retiring as well, and she has served our district for 31 years. And then finally, at our Harris School, we have our library aide retiring, Miss Marcia Moore, and she has served Southeast Delco School District for 36 years. And we thank all 3 of you for your dedicated service.
The announcement of future meetings of the board, Committee of the Whole, Thursday, April 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. Board business, Thursday, April 28th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I think Ms. Dr. Winder still needs to share the update on the mask mandate.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I apologize.
So we just wanted to be clear, and an announcement on our all call will come out this evening as well. Our mask will now go to recommended, which means we recommend that they wear it, but they don't have to at this point. And Dr. Ryan will ensure that an all call is sent out tonight so that the parents and students that weren't here have the same knowledge as everyone that did come. So it starts tomorrow morning. Any questions? Thank you. Adjourn.
The meeting is adjourned.